This Wi-Fi access point might just be the answer to your internet problems at home. You see, most people assume when the internet at home is poor, it's down to the broadband that comes into the house, and they often look to swap or change providers to try and improve that, and it sometimes does improve it temporarily, but most of the time the issue is down to the equipment that is sent from your internet service provider. You see, these are cheaply mass-produced routers that are just sent out for free to every single customer that signs up for their broadband, and usually you can improve the coverage to your house by installing upgraded Wi-Fi points. Wi-Fi points come in all shapes and sizes. You can get ceiling mount ones that sit on a desktop, but these are an in-wall access point, which means they replace the faceplate in which you might have already installed on your house. We installed these network points for a customer recently. You can watch that back on a previous video on the pop-up banner here. But for now, we're going to swap this over so that this faceplate not only has the original plug, but also broadcasts a Wi-Fi signal around this house. And to install these, it's just as simple as taking off the original faceplate. Once we've got the faceplate off, it's usually this is the back of the data mod, and instead of it going into punch down slots, you want to create a RJ45 end or put it into a Cat6 end. So I'll cut that off for now. I will. Oh, thanks, Dean. Ideally with this, you'd want to have a deeper back box. I can't remember what size or mil back boxes these are, but they're pretty standard. They're not a deeper back box, this, and the cable should just hopefully fit in nicely if we just squeeze it all in without trying to bend the cable too much. Try and keep the mess to the minimum. This is why I love these pass-through ends. They've been around for years now, these, but you couldn't. They just make terminating so much faster. So we shove that in there. Push it all the way through. Because it's Cat6, it's slightly thicker and harder to push through, but you can see the cables before you terminate them. So orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, brown, white, brown. Chuck it into my crimp, and it will cut the ends off and crimp that nicely, meaning no mess. Then it's just a case of plugging that into that, feeding that into there, and screwing the back box into place. Now I think in the box it comes with its own accessory screws. Yes, it does. But they're actually a weird triangle fitment. I imagine that's some sort of security bit, so I'm not going to use them. I'm going to try and use the original faceplate screws so that it all looks and fits right. It's just a case of clicking on the faceplate for the access point and plugging in the customer's original, oh, it's here. Plugging in the customer's original cable. So not only have they got Ethernet to feed the gaming PC, which they've got under here, they've also now got the ability to broadcast Wi-Fi from here, so they'll have full Wi-Fi coverage in this room and the rooms that follow on from here because they're all plasterboard and stud walls. What we've got to do now is head downstairs, plug everything into the switch, and then we can use the app to set up these TP-Link in-wall access points. So to go with the TP-Link access point upstairs, we've got a 5-port desktop gigabit PoE switch. It's important that if you are doing this in your own home that you do use PoE, because that means that the switch can power the access point as well as passing data to it so that it feeds Wi-Fi out. If you don't get a PoE switch, you'll find that you'll put everything together and it won't work. What I'll do is I'll just put it into the cupboard roughly for now, and then afterwards it's got these 2 lugs, which are a right pain, but I've got a little trick to mount those to the wall so that the install looks all nice and neat by the time we're leaving. Back room where the gaming PC is was port 2, so I'll find the end of port 2 in here. Plug that into the switch, and then I just need to... Oh, I've left it in the van, haven't I need a cable to connect the switch to the router, which I'll just go get from the van. Wait there, one sec. Got it. One of these shorter patch leads for now, just to get everything set up, and then we can decide where the box is going afterwards. As long as I can get it tested, make sure everything's working, then we know we've no problems. It doesn't matter which port on the back of your router the switch plugs into. You just need to give it one that's that doesn't say WAN. Any of the others are absolutely fine. Now that light should go green to tell me that it's feeding the switch with internet, and this one might also now start flickering because it's actually got network connectivity. So the final step is connect my phone to the customer's Wi-Fi, and then using the TP-Link Armada app, straight away, I'll screen record this actually, and straight away it's detected the access point as in wall, saying it's in standalone mode, which is fine. So it's going to ask me to set up a device username and password, which I will give it now. And then straight away it's asking for the Wi-Fi name. And what I'm going to do, which I do for all the customers, is just assign the Wi-Fi here upstairs the exact same Wi-Fi SSID as the Wi-Fi that the customer already has. That just means that the customer can go upstairs and seamlessly connect to the stronger Wi-Fi up there, and as they come downstairs it'll connect back to this. If you were installing multiple Wi-Fi access points, you would want to remove or turn off the Wi-Fi on the box, and then you could call the Wi-Fi whatever you want. But to try and make this seamless for the customer so that they're not having to remember to disconnect and reconnect to devices downstairs and upstairs, I'm just going to call this Wi-Fi exactly the same as the current one. I'm going to enable both bands, so it's going to enable 2.4 and 5 gigahertz networks. Hit next, and that's going to go away and apply the settings. Yeah, it came with device lost then for a second, but the actual device has configured, so maybe it's just rebooted, and that's what it was. Let's go upstairs and check it. And straight away I can see that the access point has now got a light on it, which obviously tells me it's got power, and it's not flashing or flickering any different colour other than white, which tells me that it's all set up and configured. If I run a speed test from directly next to the access point, we're getting tons and tons of internet. Cool, that's all working, which means the last job is to tidy up the understairs here and mount the switch in a place that it's not going to get unplugged or bashed. So we've got to disconnect everything for now, sort it all out, and then reconnect it. Now the trick that I've used in the past for mounting these really awkward, because you can't see where to mark your holes, which makes it really awkward, is just to get a bit of tape that's got a straight flat edge, put it over the holes, mark where the centre of your holes are, or just mark around where your holes are. Then what I'll do is we wanted to mount the switch that way, so I need a straight line running down. If I get a level line that way, is it in the centre of the axis? Yeah, it's in the centre, so if we put it more here. Get a level line there. If I now take the tape off and stick the tape to the level line, we are pretty much bob on where we need to be for drilling our holes. Everything's an hammer if you want it to be. And there we are, mounted on the wall, which means these cables can now link up into 1 and 2. Just going to check with the customer just before I disconnect that he's happy to switch it all over. Just let me go and check. Right, I've checked with the customer, he's happy for me to just switch his cable over. So we will put a shorter cable, we'll take that out of there and put that into number 1 on the switch. And we'll take, as quick as I can because the customer's computer's now gone off. Put that into there. And that into there. Oh, hang on, no, I'm not happy with that. Let's loop that the right way around. Which means the router can now, all the rest of the cables are for the alarm and CCTV. So we'll sit that down there. Quick check that the Wi-Fi upstairs is working. Yep, light's gone solid white, which tells me everything is connected. So there we have it, Wi-Fi installed for this customer. If you want to see us install the original cabling and how we hid everything in the walls, you can click on the pop-up banner here. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to know more information about home Wi-Fi for you or your family or friends, I'll put our link to our email at hello@harrysolutions in the description of this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.